All right, now that winter is finally here, I thought this would be the perfect time to share some tips and tricks for the Tesla Model 3 during these cold, wintry months. So believe it or not, this is my second winter season with the Tesla Model 3. And really, over the past 2 seasons, I've come to learn a few things about owning and driving a Model 3 during these cold temperatures. So let's just jump right in and take a look at my top 7 things you should know and consider, especially if this is your first winter experience owning and driving a Tesla Model 3. In the colder months, you can see a decrease in your range from 20 to 30% or more in some cases. So in order to combat this, you should change or increase your charge level by a minimum of 20 or 30% depending on your commute and driving need. If you haven't seen my previous winter driving videos, I'll go ahead and post a card up above so you can go back and check them out. I have personally seen a decrease in range of more than 30% in some cases. So by increasing your charge level, you can be sure you'll have enough range to get you from point A to point B. And of course, whenever possible, you should keep your car plugged in. Even if it's just into a standard 110 outlet, this will help the battery retain some heat, as well as give you the ability to preheat the battery and cabin without losing much range, as the power draw comes from the power source and not your battery. So one last note to make regarding the charge level, especially if this is your first winter experience. During colder temperatures, you may see a blue snowflake icon next to your battery or range, depending on how you have that set up. This icon indicates that some of the battery's capacity is not available for use. Regenerative braking and power will also be limited until the battery warms up to the appropriate temperature. So the takeaway here is to keep your car plugged in whenever possible and increase your charge limit to combat the loss of range due to the colder temps. So to help maximize your range and efficiency, be sure that all of your tires are inflated to the correct PSI. The inflation recommendations can be found inside the driver's side door jamb on the white decal, just like this one. So chill mode is exactly what the name implies. It helps you reduce your energy consumption by forcing you to drive more conservatively. This feature lowers the car's overall performance and peppiness. I know, what a bummer, right? So no matter how much you press on the accelerator, the car eases into motion, which will prevent slipping and aggressive driving. Basically, in other words, chill mode makes acceleration more gradual, which has a positive impact on the battery and ultimately the car's range. To change this setting, do the following. To toggle your chill settings, go to Menu, Driving, and Acceleration, toggle to chill setting. So in snowy, icy, or slick road conditions, I highly recommend that you change your regenerative braking setting to low. If you're already there, great. But with this setting, you'll get less return on energy, but your car will be less likely to slide when regen is used. Especially since the new update 2019 36.2.1, regenerative braking seems to be a little more aggressive. In my experience, using regen in snowy weather with the standard setting, my Model 3 tended to slide a little bit, almost like I was pressing on the brake and the tires couldn't grab. So reducing regen will give you more control of your vehicle during bad road conditions, but there's a trade-off. This will limit the energy back to the battery. To change your regen to low, do the following. Change your regen settings, go to Menu, Driving, Regenerative Braking, and toggle to low. In these colder months, you should always try to preheat your battery and cabin whenever possible. Optimally, this would be while your car is plugged in. And I know that's much easier said than done in some cases. To preheat your Tesla, you can use your Tesla mobile app and turn on your heat, defrost, and seat warmers. Another thing to note for those of you who may not be aware, your defrost also activates your heated mirrors, which will help melt ice and snow buildup in and around the mirror. Now keep in mind that preheating your battery and cabin while the car is not plugged in will definitely impact your available range. Another option would be to use the new scheduled departure feature that was just released in software update 2019.36.2.1. Check out the card above for that video review. Now, essentially, this feature will precondition the battery and preheat the cabin based on your departure time you have selected, getting your car ready at the optimum time. And by using this feature, the car will use the power from the charger and not your battery. Preheating your cabin and battery will allow the car to operate more efficiently. And if done while plugged in, you don't lose any range. To schedule your departure time, do the following. To schedule your departure, press the lightning bolt, schedule, depart at, and choose the time you desire to have the car optimally ready for you to depart. All right, so many of you may not think about this, but to help prevent your mirrors from getting stuck in the open or closed position, I highly recommend that you turn off the auto folding mirror settings when weather may impact their operation. Because remember, the mirrors are mechanical and water can get into that mechanism, causing the mirrors to freeze and not operate correctly. And that's the last thing you want. So to disable the auto folding mirror settings, do the following. To change the settings for your auto folding mirrors, go to Settings, Mirrors, and toggle the mirror setting. So this one is a little easier said than done. But once your cabin is heated to a comfortable temperature, reduce the HVAC temp and turn on your seat heater to remain warm. This will help reduce the battery consumption and promote range efficiency, which is a big deal in these colder temps. However, I will tell you, last year when temps hit 40 below zero, I had to have the heat cranked to stay warm. This is why number one is so important. You need to increase your charge level in these colder months. So here's some general tips. No matter what car you own, you should always clear the important surfaces from snow and ice. For Tesla owners, this includes your cameras and your sensors. And you should always make sure your door handles and charge port is free of ice as well. Another great tip is that you can use a silicone lubricant spray on your window and door handle seals to help prevent them from freezing shut. If you're not familiar with these types of products, I'll go ahead and link a few products down below for you to review. And lastly, you should use the energy graph to help you see how your driving and energy use is impacting your range. This will help you understand how to get from point A to point B and gives you an understanding of how you're using the car and what you turn on and off and how that impacts your range. Those are my top tips and tricks. I hope I was able to provide you with some useful information. If you liked the video, please share, like, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.